Hello, this is Leslie with the Gospel of Leslie, and this is the Gospel of Pleasure slash Inquiry Meditation little podcast ep, kind of format that I am trying out in terms of sharing more with my mailing list and subscribers. So thank you so much for being here. And what I'm going to do tonight is a kind of like really, really mini essay that I wrote. I don't think I'm great at freestyling things. That's why I write in essay form, but I don't have the energy right now to be writing. When I write the bigger essays, those take like really up to 16 hours to write. And then to actually produce them and, like get them recorded and get them uploaded and all that, it could take literally 18 to 20 hours for a single piece of writing. And I just don't have that kind of time right now. So this is why I'm just trying out different formats that are, sustainable. And sometimes I just know I'm not going to be able to not, I'm going to have to write something. I'm going to have to do a bigger essay because, bitch, I'm a writer. Fucking fuck. I am. But we'll see. But for now, this is just a little short thing. And this is going to be part of something bigger, I suspect. Or it's going to be, part of something different. But I said I wanted to try this out this week and we'll see how it goes. And so I was like, what is alive for me right now? What do I want to share and everything? And this was something that I had started earlier. And so, it's called What's the Point of Spirituality? And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So it's very brief, and here we go. Well, here we go now. Title: What is the point of spirituality? To become ever more human. And how do we access ever more of our humanity? By becoming more and more sensitive. Sensitive as in like the iPhone 16 or whatever number it's up to now is more sensitive than the iPhone 1, right? So sensitive in that way. And how do we become more sensitive? By by developing and growing our capacity to feel. And how do we grow our capacity to feel? By being more in our bodies, more embodied. And how do we be more in our bodies? By noticing what is here. And how do we begin to notice what is here? By noticing what is always and already happening. You are breathing. By noticing that you are breathing. If you will begin to notice you are breathing, then you will become more sensitive, softer, sweeter. In other words, you will become more durable, more able, more helpful, more able to truly relate. The essence of breath is relationship. The opposite is true as well. When we do not notice we are breathing, we become less sensitive, harder, bitter. In other words, we become fragile, brittle, less able, less helpful, less able to truly relate. The essence of not breath is trauma. The more sensitive you become, the more spiritual you become, the more deeply human you become too. The point of spirituality is so that you can be more in the world, feel ever more, and thus be more human because you can access ever more of your humanity. And what is the point of our humanity? Joy. And what is joy? Expression. We are here to express what we are. That is the point. The end. So, one thing I want to note about this is that I think it's kind of like, you know, how do we be in our bodies? By noticing what is here. And how do we begin to notice what is here? By noticing that we are breathing. And so, this thing of how do we access our humanity? How do we become more spiritual? It all begins by noticing that we're breathing. And because we skip over noticing that we are breathing, that is why basically everything starts to go awry. That is why we begin to suffer more and more. It's because, and it just seems like it can't be that. That's just too elemental. It's just too elemental. It's just too basic. That can't be the answer. It's got to be something more complicated. And it's not. Um, Maybe try it. Notice that you were breathing when you're upset and see what happens. That is the beginning of everything. And we also tend to think of, people who seem the strongest or whatever, kind of like the might is right people. Those are the most fragile and the most brittle and the least able among us. And we think of softness, we think of sweetness, we think of sensitivity, we think of these things as like kind of feminine, kind of about weakness, and we think that they make us weaker, but really they don't. They actually make us incredibly strong and incredibly powerful. As in like you know out of this world, not of this world powerful. So yeah, just something I was thinking about today. I hope that this is helpful. If you feel like it, you can let me know if you like this format, if you have suggestions, and I'm open to hearing them. But this is what was here for me tonight. This is what I felt like saying, and so I said it. Thanks for being here. I hope that this added something for you tonight.